Alright. Hi, hello. I'm not hustling and bustling, moving around tonight. I am at home. Hello, hello. Hi. Hi, hi. Hello. I don't know who's joining. I don't see y'all, so I can't address you by your name to see who's on here. But thank you for joining tonight. Gonna have a Patricia. Hi, Patricia. Hope you're doing well. You done had a good night, a good day, rather. Just a moment, I need to reposition my camera. I'm always having I be thinking I have it all together, but then it don't just work out like that. I don't be liking. Okay. Yeah, that's a little better. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to be talking about defining who defines our right and wrong. Let me just give a few minutes to see. Few minutes for people to join before I get started. Then I have someone, my Bessie and Sissy, gonna join me tonight on this conversation. So I'm gonna just hang out here for a minute and see what's going on. And I was actually thinking earlier how I love to listen to music. That can be some way I show myself self-love, some self-care. Just listening to some good music that have you down, have you feeling good, and sometimes not even, it does make you feel good. I can be feeling bad and I listen to music. And my go-to music when I'm not feeling when I want to be uplifted or encouraged is gospel music. And I have a little playlist that, and it kind of has gone through my journey, because at one point I was at a place like, where do I go? And my song was by, what is her name? She got a beautiful smile, and I see her face, Yolanda Adams. Yolanda Adams, that was one of my songs when I was really, in that point. I'm like, Lord, lead the way. Show me the way. Oh, let me find it. So, yeah. I just think about, and then like the songs that I listen to now is more, empowering. The growth. You can tell, the growth just from the different songs that speak to you now. And it's just, I got a list of songs that really is like a journey from where I was to where I am now. So yes, talking about what's right and wrong, like who defines who we are. Are we the ones who define who we are? No. Hey, Brittany. Hey, lady. How you doing? because I think that's important, and that's a lot of some of the things that we be challenged with is trying to make decisions that sometimes it's not decisions that's based on what we want, but based on something that we know that, hey, Quita, how you doing? Hey, y'all. So, y'all two ladies, just starting out, like I said, when we just identifying what's right and wrong, when to do, when we want to do things that we want to do, and how do we factor in make the right decision about what we want to do, and then who defines what's right and wrong in our lives, or just the decisions that we make on a daily basis, or when you have that conversation, that inner conversation, or in your mind, like, am I doing the right thing or I'm doing the wrong thing? Like, where is that rooted from, to where you question, is this the right thing or the wrong thing for me to do, if it's something that you want to do, or if it's something that you do naturally, if it's something naturally that you want to do, and you wouldn't have known that it was bad until someone told you that it wasn't bad, or they made you think a certain way that made you question what was natural in you that you wanted to do. Your belief system. Definitely a belief system. And what is your belief system based on? Where does that come from? Is it inward, or is from influences from the outer? Is it internally more so, or external? You understand? Because I want to make sure, because it definitely, like I said, it's definitely a belief system, but where does that belief system come from that defines our right and wrong? Hey, Tanisha. And I know we have grown, from our childhood up until this point, we know our parents had a big our parents had a big influence on training us and leading us in the way that we should go. The word of God, and if I'm not okay, I'm reading your thing, Quita. The word of God, and if what I'm doing isn't going to hurt me or anyone else, then I go for it. Good. I like that. So the word of God, and if what I'm doing isn't going to hurt me or anyone else, then I go for it. Now, did you have to grow to this understanding, which I'm sure you did? You had to grow to that point of understanding and trusting your inner reflection on doing what's right and what's wrong. And Bryn, you agree? You agree with Quita? And we definitely know God plays a part on just knowing what's right or wrong, but from my experience, we definitely had to grow to it. Exactly. And then we have our youth coming up, and that, like I said, we are a reflection of who they see or who they come up, because we are influenced by external factors, and it takes us experiencing life and getting to a point to where we have suffered from those we suffered from our decisions, and because sometimes the things that we want to do is not always the best thing, or I'm not gonna say the best thing, because in that moment you don't know what's on the other side until you experience it. And then okay, well, yeah, I know you're on a flight. You're going to have to go on airplane mode wherever you're going. Safe travels. I hope you land, and let us know that you made it okay. Wherever you're going, be safe. So, so we learned growing up what's right and wrong from our people, and from the people that advises us what to do, that train us up in the way that we should go. And most of that be our parents, our elders, our grandmothers, grandfathers, whoever that was around us, that trained us up and let us know what was right or wrong. But was it anything that come up as you grew and you did get to know God that you realized wasn't the right thing? You know, it wasn't wrong what you were doing, but this is just a belief system, and this is what checking in on what you believe and where did it come from and why you believe it, and does it serve you or does it go against who you are? I was more of a leader in my family. I had to take my beliefs and my lessons and try to take charge as to how I would put myself aside from others. Okay. That's good. I mean, just being in that's that self-awareness is, you know, looking at your beliefs, take your beliefs and the lessons that you learn from them. Because did your belief ever change, or the things that you believe, did you get to a point to where your belief system changed from the lessons, from like your real lessons and the things that you went through, as opposed to just what someone told you? Just from being a leader. So that's definitely that's something. That's a great acknowledgement, a recognition in you to be selected as a musician under the gospel scholarship. And you have a beautiful voice. That is a gift that, and I've always loved to hear you sing. It's just that I know that is God-given. That is a God-given gift that you have as a voice. So that is so fitting to be a musician under a gospel scholarship. So yeah, so just in belief systems, like I say, sometimes is it something in your belief that you once believed that has changed? And I know I have a lot of, and I define, and I think this is something that we have a conflict in a lot of, and just getting to a place to trusting that the decisions that you make are best for you, and sometimes it may not be best for others, or because they may not feel where you're coming from, or they may have a different belief than you have. So when it comes to making those decisions that don't hurt others, or trusting that the decisions that you make is not intending to hurt others, but they may hurt other people, because sometimes you can't take on everyone hurt, or you can't take on what somebody believe or what they don't believe if it's not your belief. So it could hurt them, or they could be offended by who you are and where you at in your life and the decisions that you make. So that is that is really like the reason for the topic tonight, because I know in relationships, and no matter what type of relationship it is, sometimes you'll start to live for other people and not so much for yourself, because you're trying to do things that is pleasing to other people. So you have to really be in tune to yourself, and also in tune to who you are in God, and be reflective. And that's why I always say you have to examine your heart. You have to examine where you're coming from, because some people can take you wrong, and that is not where you coming from. So do you own that, or you like, how do you deal with that? How do we want to deal with that when or communicate? That's where that communication is, and you hope that someone is open to hear where you're coming from, as opposed to having a fixed mindset from where they believe. And that's why we have to always go and visit and really think for ourselves, and really check those systems and make sure that they are legit, you know, that they are legit, and they are really something who you are. Because I believe in the God in me. I believe in the goodness of me. And so I know that I do always, you know, weigh that out, and I try to balance that out. But at the same time, it has been some times that I'm like, you know, I'm sorry you feel that way, because that's just, you know, that's not where I'm coming from. You know, my heart is good, and if you feel that way, I'm sorry that you feel that way, because you know, and that do become a personal problem, because you want to dig deep down inside and see, why am I feeling this way, or why do I have to question or even not be who I am. So that's how, hey Annie, so that'd be hard for us to move and really become true to who we are, when we are constantly trying to tiptoe around other people, and we can't really truly be free to being ourselves, because number one, I've heard so many people in doing that, they don't want to express themselves, they don't want to share who they are, they don't want no one to know anything because they don't want to be judged, and they feel like they'll be judged, or they feel like someone not gonna understand them, or they may think that it's the wrong thing to do, or it's not the right thing to do. So like, where do we get to a place within us that we trust that the things that we do, especially if we know God, and we know who we are, like, where do we find that trust in our decisions and in doing the right thing? And that is something that has come forward, and it was on my heart to talk about it, because we want to be true to ourselves. We want to be free, and we want to raise our children to be free in who they are and be able to express themselves. And one thing that I had a conversation with about Melda not too long ago, just growing up, a lot of times when we end up being withdrawn, judging others are not good at all. No, it's not, but that's the life, like what we live. Like, people are going to judge you for what you do. So because you are afraid of being judged by other people, are you not going to be who you are? Are you not going to be true to yourself because you don't want to be judged, or you don't want no one to think that you are being mean, or you doing something towards them and it don't have anything to do with them? Okay, just a moment, I gotta go let Melda in. I told her she didn't let her mommy in. You probably can just come sit with me. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. I had to own it. I have had the best leaders and believers in my life, and I took a path that always pulled me back to my beliefs. Today, so different. Yes. You definitely have to stop living for others and was happy to make others happy. And you will, when you are really true to be yourself, and you trust who you are, and you know who you are, and you know your worth. You really do. Let me see. Sorry, y'all. So you really do begin to free up, and that's when you can flow. You really can flow, and God really can use you to connect and reach with other people, because you are free to be yourself. But when you're not being yourself, it's hard, because you're fighting, you're going against the grain, you're going against who you are. And for what? You really have to take note of that. You really have to sit down and put those things in perspective, and that's how you can really open up to be free in who you are. And I feel like, I believe when I just stepped away, I was talking about how we start to not be open and be assertive and not say anything, because you may have been raised up not to say anything. Be quiet. You couldn't really express yourself, because if you ask questions, or if you said something, don't say nothing. This is grown. No one really was explaining things and breaking it down. So you would grow up like not saying nothing, and not even feeling comfortable with saying anything, because you never really had a voice, or no one really recognized or allowed you to really express yourself and get an understanding, like just growing up. So it's important that we learn to allow people to express themselves, and not being, you definitely want to be free. And that's what that is where freedom comes in. That is where your freedom starts at, like that true freedom. And that breakthrough is really doing inventory on who you are. And especially, like I say, if you know God, especially doing inventory on who God is in you, what he's speaking to you. Because a lot of things you will realize that what you've been experiencing and what you done had to went through has not been of God. It's just been of people and the expectations they put on you and the standards and the pressure that they put on you, to where God really can't do anything with you, because you got to break through that before you can even be free to be who you are and be true to who you are. Because there's nothing wrong. That is the right thing for us to do, is to be true to who we are and not be afraid to be that. And even if you are judged, like, you are connected to God, you know who God is in you. So in that, knowing, you know, God is not he's not a God of judgment. God wants us to be free. He wants us to be free in what we believe he is in us. And that's the only way. And then trust the process, because we know God is changing who we are, because we were influenced. We have been held back from information. We have not been able to be free. And it was nothing but God that put us in a place to where we start to seek outside of that prison. You know, that prison in our mind, our emotions and our feelings and all of that, to where we couldn't even be like, who are we? I started from childhood. That's why a lot of mental issues and a mental sickness, it will all go back to your childhood and what you believe and how you was raised, and or even how people treated you, or, you know, you were judged in the street. I was just a little kid in the street growing up, and been a smiley, laughing, want to be around people, and I was judged. I was talked about. You know, me and Melda, she here, but I don't know. You gonna sit here if you can come in another spot. Yeah, she gonna pull up and join me. Letting go and let him handle it all. We will take. He will take you to another level or place if we just let him set us free. You're exactly right, because I definitely was set free in my relationship with God. Like, all these things that I'm talking about that held me down, that burdened me down, I'm like, you know, Lord, this could not be it, because I know, like, my heart, I'm knowing, like, the things that is, you know, said about me, or, you know, what I'm experiencing, or how people treat me. I'm like, this is not me. How's this happening? And, you know, just to learn, like, who.
Hey, good people. Hey, good people.
Just to learn that God loved me unconditionally, and that I knew he was working in me, and he was helping me get through those things that I was troubled, that was burdening my mind, that was burdening my soul, because I didn't understand it. And that was the freedom of knowing truly who God is. And why I always speak about a connection of God, because we were molded and we were programmed in a way, but that just goes to show how powerful God is in us. Right. Because we may went through the fire, we may went through the storm, but we come out so much stronger, and we come out more beautiful than what we ever was when we connect to that type of love, and we accept ourselves, and we be patient with ourselves, because we know we have a lot to go through to undo what has already happened and what we have lived. So it's like a renewal in our mind and our spirit and in our bodies, because, like I said, once you get started, all of that plays a part. Our bodies, our mind, and our spirit, we want to become one in that, because there's really no separation in that. We may think that, but we really are one, and that's how we become whole, when we align ourselves, mind, body, and spirit.
Right.
So,
yes, unlearn and relearn is the thing for 2021. Unlearn what does not apply to your life and relearn.
Yes.
And love and light.
Yes, and love and light. And what that agrees, that is in alignment with the spirit in us. Because I believe that we're love, and I know that God is love. So if God is love and we are love, we have to get alignment with that love. And so, and once you do that, that's freedom. Because, like, everything that you deal with, and you see that's why I love the affirmations that I posted today. Hurtful to revisit. Judgments you knew weren't true. Some things we want to forget, but forgiveness is the key. Unlearn and relearn.
Yes.
That is good,
That's it
Britt.
right there, Britt.
That is really good. It can depends on how bad that judgment was on you, but there's a freedom in that also.
Right.
I know I felt it was a freedom to know that people really couldn't judge me, and even if they did judge me, I knew that was their problem. You know, that didn't have nothing to do with me. Yeah, that's a day problem, like Melda said. So there was freedom in that. It was freedom in knowing, like, you are perfect in the creation of God. You know, and who you are a perfect being. 25 years ago. Yeah.
Come on now.
That was a lie. So, I mean, that's what it takes. And it take those years, because at what point we have to go through life and get to where we are to be, to find that peace and find that connection in God, because he definitely is always there. He never was not there, because we're an extension of who he is. We just have to get to know that. We had to get to know who he was. Yeah. He didn't have to do anything. He was there. You know, he was always there. And that's how we end up finding them in a lot of stories. When you hear those testimonies, that's what it was. They was in that place, and God showed up in them spiritually, and you were able to recognize it, and you was able to draw your strength from that knowing, and from always waking up and being okay, and either having answers or somebody coming to you and giving you exactly what you needed, and you start to recognize this is how God work in us. And so, like, going back just from like the childhood, the things, and we have to go through all of that. That's why we can't be hard on ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves what we didn't know in the process.
Right.
You know, we may get burnt in the process, but we came out on fire.
Yeah.
We came out, on fire.
Right.
We came out good. You know, we came out the fire. You know, we may be in a little bruise, but we healed. We're going to come back.
We just went through a few valleys. That's it.
We went through a few valleys, but me and Mel, some of the, let me see. Well, I did touch base on how we used to, how it could be where we won't be expressive. I'm expressive now, and I talk now, but I didn't for a long time.
I gotta get used to that, baby. We used to laugh at our mamas and grandmas talking all the time, and now when we get to talking, we let it flow, honey. And we'll be like, let me be quiet, because we'll be here all night. That comes from that upbringing of, you can't just really say too much, or when you do need to express yourself, it's considered talking back, or, you know, like, cause I said so. We ain't getting no valid reason of where we can understand why we getting in trouble, or what we don't need to do next. But it's like, okay, Pooh, say hi.
Hi.
Now say bye.
Bye.
Okay, now exit stage left. Okay, we'll be in there in a minute.
She always doing something.
But yeah, like, and so that's why
baby, bye.
What people would think is somebody being quiet, or she don't talk too much, or she's sneaky, or none of that stuff. No, some people just be sitting back being observant, or some people from their upbringing is they don't know how to express themselves, or they don't want to be judged from expressing themselves. I know back in the younger days, or being a little smaller, we didn't just really say too much at school because we didn't want to sound dumb, or that's why they say now, like, no question is a dumb question. You know, if you don't know, open your mouth and say you don't know. If you need guidance, it's okay if you need guidance. It's okay if you're wrong. If you are wrong, it is okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong, as long as you go try to find out how to right your wrongs.
Right.
So that's it for right now. Before I keep going, you can go on to your next topic. Baby, bye, Tanisha.
I love when she said
it.
But that's one thing as far as being expressive, and then that can keep us back, because when God wants us to tell something, when He is speaking to us, when we say we're not being obedient, that's because we ain't never been able to. Didn't nobody really teach us that, but we started to learn that as we get closer to God. That's why I thank God, like, I can't really, harbor or dwell on, like, the things that I didn't have or what I missed. I put it in perspective, but I give, I praise to God that stood in the gap and, gave me what I needed to to get that understanding, to where I could break through those barriers, and I could break those chains and those things that held me down, to where now I can open up and express myself. And when, you know, he asks us to do something, we be going against him because we weak in who we are, but our strength and our power does come from God.
But Lord, I don't want to get on here. They ain't going to believe me anyway. Like, that ain't the problem. You know, just do what I told you to do.
Right.
And go talk to the people.
Right.
And tell the people about the love of God.
Yes.
And how everybody
Hey, Rochelle.
Hey, Rochelle. Hey, girl. Hey.
Yes, we all got love in us, and that's what God wants us to do. And we have to be okay with who we are and what God is working in us, because we are not perfect. And I think that's another thing that when we speak of God and we talk about God and we praise God to the point to where what he's done in our life, like, can't nobody take that away from us. Right. Even if we are still a work in progress and we still got some things to straighten out in our lives, we are a work in progress. God does love us unconditionally. Right. And if he loves us unconditionally, we have to learn how to love ourselves unconditionally. And we have to learn how to love others unconditionally as well, especially people that we are bound to connect with, or that we are connected with. Right. Now, strangers, the people that just, they are not for you, then that's it. But when it is people around you, you have to be grounded in who God is in you. And that's being obedient, because if you know him, you know the Spirit of God, you know who he is in you. So like I say, we don't be nothing. And I learned that when, you know, just going through my journey and God telling me to do things and I've been disobedient. I wasn't ready. You know, I didn't have the courage. I didn't have, you know, the trust in myself and the belief. I was like, Lord, you know, and so it always come back, you know, do what I'm saying. If you trust in me and I'm the one who done brought you through, I'm the one that has bridged the gap. This is, you know, this is what it is. Why are you not doing what I'm asking you to do? You know, so he is, but he love us enough to, like, it's no way like he ain't gonna be there anymore for us. But you gonna sit there, you gonna stay in that place, you gonna stay stuck, you gonna stay not being able until you step out on faith and you trust in what you know. You know, and that's one thing that you start to realize too, is that when you are not moving what you know, what God, you know, you got some stuff you got to work out. And that stuff, that it does go back to your childhood. You do have to go through the root. Like, what made me not do what God is telling me to do? Like, what is it in me that's going against who I am in truth and in light and in love? Like, what is that? And it is always an external factor. If you really reflect, it's always an external factor. So we have to start learning how to live from the inside out and not from the outside in.
Come on, say it one more time for the people in the back.
I can't with it. This is the hype man right here. But
I do feel like as well, with people struggling to just be themselves, Sissy touched a bit on being too hard on ourselves about, oh, I wish I would have known, or if I would have known. It's okay that you didn't know what you know now back then. Like, that builds character, that does all of that. And beating yourself up. And so once you stop doing that, I don't even really think half the time it got to do with other people. It's you. You know, really is. You looking down on you, and not really, you know, believing in you, and you beating yourself up like, okay, I know better, I do better. And just because there's more work to do don't mean you can't love who you are now. Right. So.
And when you said the beating yourself up, why would you be beating yourself up again?
Beating yourself up because you may be seeing other ways you could have went about it, or thinking about the what ifs. I would say stop thinking about the what ifs. The what ifs was gone. Like, ain't nothing you can do about it. So stop beating yourself up. Just move forward and use the tools that you have as you gain tools as you move forward. So that also comes from, I would say, upbringing. You know, it comes from not being shown self-love and how to love yourself. You know, to where you get to the point to where you don't, and now you are struggling, or once people have come to their awakening of, okay, it is, I need to do a self-check, I need to work on me, you know. So yeah, go ahead, because I just lost my train of thought that quick. It's all good. It's gonna come back full circle in a minute.
Yeah, so yeah, that I think
Beating
that is
yourself
one
up.
of the things is like you beat yourself up because you have not lived up to the standards of the world. And
Of the
then
world.
to learn that you are not of the world is a beautiful thing. You know,
Come
like
on
you
now.
stand out, you are not of the world. You know, you're a part of me. You really a part of the universe, and the world is the people in it and what they define and what is good. Yeah, self-check equals self-love. I
Come
love
on,
that.
self-check.
I
Coming
love
from
that.
somebody who would, you couldn't tell me I was wrong, baby. I could be, you can have the receipts on my wrong list. No, not me.
Not the receipt.
Come on, receipts, dead wrong. Nuh-uh, just stubborn as I'll get out.
Oh, that's
The
stubborn.
stubbornness, yes.
We definitely got to get out
Mm-mm.
that stubborn.
But yeah, once you
stubbornness.
do them self-checks, baby, and you like, okay, it was me.
Yeah.
And it feel good. It feel good to be accountable.
Yes.
It does feel good to let you know you're human.
Right.
And everybody mess up. Everybody be wrong here and there. And I don't want to be around nobody that's always right. You can't be always right. Always? Not always.
Well, you can be always
No.
right, and they're right, and they
I'm
not.
talking, well, we talking about, I ain't talking about it ain't right. I'm talking about when you know you wrong, but you still
You know, I'm always giving the benefit of the
I
doubt.
give people the benefit of the doubt, and you get
No,
stung
but you're right,
a lot of
though.
times
Yeah.
giving people the benefit of the doubt. But
Mhm.
hey, that's also a learning lesson.
Yeah.
So whatever learning lessons or route you need to take for your journey.
Okay, yeah, we gotta have some of that good cooking of love.
Yes, Brittany, I'm sorry.
Brittany, yeah, I like to
Brittany.
call her Brittany.
I'll be calling her Brittany all the time.
But Britton, Chef Britton.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you for joining. I love you, and get to your cooking and studying.
Yes.
So yes, we were the love, the growth, the life, you know, and just not, and even like, and I thank God for that, because even if I do get stung, because I'm a trusting person and I just
Right.
believe in the good of people, and until they show me something different, then you know it is what it is. But I just don't take it. Even if I hurt in that moment,
Mhm.
it don't last at all.
Right.
It don't last, and I'm really forgiving, and I like to think of myself like the God, like this is the God in me, because
Right.
I don't hold those type of grudges, or I move on and I can talk to you the next day,
The next
you know,
day.
like, and not, really feel any type of way.
Mhm.
But you do remember hurt, when
Yeah.
people do hurt. So I do get that you won't forget, but you
Mhm.
can forgive. But that when people hurt you sometime, and it'll grow, you'll grow out of it, but it's
Mhm.
not nothing to hold against anybody.
Right.
Hold it to, because they are who they are, and you really have to learn to accept people for who they are and
Who
where
they
they're
are.
at in their journey. And hopefully you can be someone that is supportive just where you at in
Mhm.
your life, that can still love that person and support them in some shape, form, or fashion,
Right.
even if it's giving them the room that they need, or
Come on, room.
for them to grow.
Right.
So, and just be, to help someone heal, help someone in some type of way that's going to support them in their journey, as we're being supported in our journey, and we learning. Because once you move in a different place in your life with God and who He is in you, you do have a high responsibility to be that person,
Mhm.
to be that demonstration of who God is in you. And if you don't, then that's the disobedient that we do, because we don't have the courage. It's still some stuff that we have to work out. And what I learned about what unconditional and that genuine love is, it really don't be about us.
Right.
And whatever it is that is
Exactly.
about us, that is what we take to God to work out in us, because we know this is not the God we serve. This is really us. So we have to be able to step back and know what is us and our own egos, and what it is that we are working and moving in the spirit of love and in the spirit of who God is in us.
Mhm.
So that's the right thing in me to do. And if it don't always look like the best, thing for other people, I have to believe and trust that I'm on the right path, and I'm connected to the right spirit.
Come
And
on
I
now.
trust that I'm being led on the right path.
Yes,
And
right
then
there.
I can stay focused, and I can keep my eye on the prize, and I won't be so quick to be pulled in a different direction or get off my path, because sometimes you'll get off and now you got to be like, Lord, when you lose those battles, you got to get back and, get back on the right track. So that is, it's okay, but always get back. You always want to get back, and you may, get on another, you may sway, or whatever, but you're going to get back. And it's almost like a teaching that, when you train your child up in the way that they should go, they may stray away, but they always find their way back home. And that's what God does for us too.
Yes,
that's that
Rochelle.
love and kindness. Let me see.
Come on, Rochelle.
What?
Yes.
When I was dating and guys who were rejecting me, I always thought there was something wrong with me, and I didn't like myself until I learned that God loved me. Yes,
God
that's
loves
it.
Me. Y'all go ahead on.
That is that is exactly, it's some of the things that I'm saying. What defines who we are? Like, how do we even start to answer to this type of behavior, this type of rejection? Because it's just what we were born in, and it made it make more sense when we said we were born in sin. We were born in this world, but we was also gifted with the Spirit of God to lead us. So that's what I trust and I believe in now, because that really has been a reflection of my life and a reflection of, things around us, that in the midst of it all,
Yes, in the midst. That's my song too, Tanisha. Now don't make me turn it on, Yolanda.
I can't. She just be too crack. I love it, though. But that was one of those things. That's a thing that we experience that we have to overcome and break through, is that rejection that from other people when we've been accepted by the one and only.
The one and only.
The Alpha and Omega.
So you in tune with the star player, and this God who is in you.
Yes, and Rochelle, it's a game changer, isn't it? Once you know that, like, you really can't be moved unless you, like I said, you don't get distracted some type of way.
But you gonna boomerang that thing and bring it on back.
Yes, you gonna boomerang it and bring it back.
That thing.
I love it. So and like I say, the people that I love and I know that I'm connected to, I know God is in them because He's in me, and I know that's how we are connected. And it always is comforting for me, and that's real deal, y'all. I leave it in God's hand, because I'm like, God, I know they know you now. I'll do my part.
Right.
I'll do my part and do all that I can to try to, speak life and be uplifting. But, you can't get us. Sometimes people make you feel like that's a wrong thing for you
to be positive and shining the light on the negative. Like, I'm trying to bring the sun in here on this darkness, and I'm wrong. I don't need to be up in here then. This ain't my village. This ain't my tribe.
I can't. Yeah, I love it, but it's true. Some people
don't tussle with them, don't argue with them, don't do none of that.
Yeah, just let it be. That's why I say you have to understand, and God does give you, and if you're aware, because some people be, they be caught up with their mission and their agenda to where you can't see when someone is giving you some feedback to where you need to bag up and chill out. So definitely want to be aware of those feelings, and definitely be aware of other people that you are engaged with and that you're communicating with. Definitely be aware of them, because again, that love and that unconditional love is really you removing yourself from a situation and not taking it personal, and knowing who you are. And that is that self-awareness. You got to keep reminding yourself, this is who I am. Can't nobody change that. I know it. God has defined it, and it is the discerning spirit, and it is no way that I can be separated from this. So when you get to that part, it just make it easier for you to deal with any situation and like really have that empathy and that compassion for people. And that's what it's about. It is really about when a person is not there, and if they don't know what you know, and they have not moved in a place where you don't move, it's for you to be that for that person. If you have the opportunity, because I truly believe that we connect with people and we cross paths with people for a reason. It's always a reason. It's either going to be, it's going to be for you, or it's going to be for them, or it's going to be for both of you. So I'm always trying to be, aware of other people's feelings, and especially if they are taking me taking me the wrong way. I'm gonna say that I used to get defensive about it. Like I used to get, I'd be real offended by it if someone misunderstood me. But now I'm like, okay, I want to understand. I really want to be open. I always want to be open to situations and allow myself to grow. I don't never want to be in a fixed place in my life to where I can't expand and grow and continue to become one within me, because when you don't, you really going against the grain. We are forever growing. We are forever learning as long as we got life in us to be operating in this world and with people and connecting and sharing and loving and all those good things is why we even exist as a body anyway. It's just we weren't meant to be here alone. We was meant to be here and connect and be loving and attract those type of spirits, because together we are stronger in numbers.
Come on, numbers.
We are stronger in numbers and with the same message, but in your own way. It's the right way for us to do is doing it our way and being authentic and true to who we are. And definitely who God is in us. That is what's going to shine light. That is the bright light in our lives and in our hearts that really will be able to make a difference in people's lives in a positive way and not in a negative way. So just defining our right and wrong is just being true to who we are. That is the right thing. When you're being true to you, because if you're not being true to you, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be fulfilled. You're going to have all these burdens. You're going to have all these things you got to work out and overcome and break down and break out and all that stuff.
And slide through and shuffle through and all this stuff.
Yeah, you gonna be doing electric slide trying to, get it together. So we trying to move in the groove of thing. We trying to be, one and be loving and just kind of open. Just really be open and just let all those things go that we thought defined who we are that really wasn't the truth. Cause God, and I love the I get crunk about God. Because I love the fact that to know who he is and power and the strength, like I'm above all. I am the Alpha and and I'm the Alpha and Omega. Like nobody can tell you what I'm going to do for you.
Yeah.
Can't no one. And he shows you that in your journey. And so when he shows you that in that journey, you really become a whole different person in that. And you really seek to become true to who you are, and that being true to who you are is really being connected to God and becoming that light and becoming just who you are. You see people that may not look like, I say, what defines right and wrong, but they know God, and that's what stands out from them. Like all the stuff that they could be doing that wrong to other people, what's right in them is God. And that is all we need to be concerned about when it comes to connecting to God's people, to our brothers and sisters, is who, making that right, who they are, and seeing God in them, because that is extension. If you believe in God, you believe that we're one in the spirit, that we are all connected in the spirit. So we want to show that, and that's when you do step back and don't be judging. You do be open to be around people, and you don't be more understanding, and don't look at it from a spirit of. And then I guess this is just that God in me, or you want to be that influence. You don't want to be the one being influenced, by, especially from a negative, aspect. But you want to be the influencer of who God is in you, because I believe He's bigger than any other spirit. That's a higher vibe. So that's like how my mind is, and that's how I work, just knowing who He is and how great and grand He is in our lives and just in the existence of our very being. Like how can you go wrong with that? Like how can you really go wrong? But that's how we are able to really identify people and connect with people, no matter what their journey look like. If they know God and they speaking what God is speaking through them, we're gonna connect and we'll be able to communicate in the spirit of love. So
because there's no one what was the it was a meme or something. Anyway, it was a post that I made a while back that there's no set of eyes that you look into that God does not love.
Yes. That I like
so
that.
no matter what you think of this person or whatever,
That's
like
you.
you said, you don't see their journey, they walk, they struggles, they whatever. Be more compassionate, be more understanding, empathetic, like Sissy said, once you recognize the God in you and know he gonna stand up in you no matter what, when you lean on him and seek him too, you won't take things personal.
Right.
You know, you won't be like you said, you've done your self-evaluation. I know I operate in love and peace and all of that stuff, so this ain't got nothing to do with me, so don't take it personal. Still love that person, pray for that person, give them their space if you need to. Not because you holding a grudge or any resentment or anything, but
they need that.
They may need that space for their growth, you know, but still love them from a distance, but still let them know I'm still here for you, whatever, just whenever you ready.
Right.
So, yeah, don't take it personal, especially when you recognize who you is, and who God is in you, and who you belong to.
Yeah. Period, Pooh.
Period, Pooh.
Like, baby, bye. So yes, yeah, that's a great thing, and it's really,
especially if they don't know you personally. I haven't been around you within the last 6 months. Don't take it personal.
Yes. Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mommy.
Yeah, so that's what we want to do. We want to define our right and who we are. That's what I've struggled with for a while. Yeah, but you'll get through it, because the one thing is that you know, and that's when you can change.
Once you know.
When you don't know, you can't change what you don't know. So that's why self-awareness is so important, and that in your emotions and all of that. Talking about go Pooh. She just. Yeah, so that in our emotions, we definitely have to be on top of our emotions.
Yes.
And it's okay, like I say, people think when you
it's okay to get emotional.
Right.
But it's to run it out with the emotions. Ain't no
that's
wrong.
it.
That's a part of human nature.
It's self-control of the emotions.
It's human nature. Yeah.
And then knowing that they are yours. And you got to talk to God, like those problems that you have that you know of. You got to trust. And you got to trust and put your faith in God and know that he's going to bring you through that. And you're going to rise to a higher version of yourself, because those negative emotions is a low vibration.
Come on.
You know, it's not it's not a high, and it's not of God, but that love and that positivity and that compassion, that's a higher, right? And then you really feel good if anyone has been, you know, that loving and compassionate and understanding person to people that needed it. You see how that works. It works good for you and it works good for them, and it's just like it's a healing in both of us. It's a growth in whoever. It could be a group of people. It could be one person. It could be two people. You know, but just being that standing on that type of love and positivity, that's a high vibration. It's a balance in everything that we go, that we can't control, the people we can't control, life that we can't control, people we can't control. There's a balance in standing in love and standing in trust and believing and putting your faith in God. Noxie, y'all better speak to him. Hey, Noxie, Waxy. We can't even see him. We gonna have to bring you on. Do you want to join? Because we can't see him. And didn't even know he was there. Y'all see? Okay.
Hey,
but yes, y'all, that's the thing. Let's, you know, just do the work that we have to do inside. And, you know, that is what I am. That's my passion. That's my heart. If anybody, you know, my again, my web page, and I got something coming up that I hope people that is ready to do the work and they ready to do the change.
Yes.
If you need it, if you don't, hey, good job. But if you need that help and you need that support, then, you know, I'm going to be the life coach to come to. You know my spirit, you know my heart, and I do have the skills. It's something that I do, but I do have the, you know, the skills and the strategy to really help break down those things and get it in perspective, where you can find your truth, you can find your love, and you can find that place to where you stand on it no matter what. You know, you're going to get through it because you just know who you are. And knowing who you are in God is the most powerful thing that you can be. It's the most powerful weapon
Come on, weapon.
that you can use in this world against anybody. Yes, most anybody. And yes, ma'am. Hey, Becky.
Hey, Becky.
So we are going to stand in our truth. We're gonna stand on who we are, and then the more we stand in our truth, the more we'll be obedient to the Spirit of God in us. But when we ain't standing in our truth, we're going against everything God is in us. So we definitely want to tap in to
Stop hiding
our
from
right.
yourself. Don't hide from yourself.
Yeah, because God won't see if you hide.
You hide from yourself.
Hey,
He can't
Dinah.
guide you the right way. Hey.
Yes, yeah. Pete, if you can't love yourself the way that he love you, what can he do with you? You know, so we definitely have to get in that place to,
And if you
no
don't
matter
love
where we're
yourself right, you sure can't love nobody else the right way.
or God.
Or God.
Because you don't know, because you haven't got to know who you are
Right,
in Him.
in Him,
Because
right.
that's a freedom. That is burdens. Those, you breaking them
Breaking
chains.
them
And
chains,
you
baby.
getting out of your mind and you
Out of
being
your
in touch with the
own
Spirit.
way. Yes.
Yes. My sister gotta love this little old girl.
I love this little old girl. Little old girl.
So yes, y'all, thank y'all for joining us tonight. And on the defining our right and wrong, we can only define that, and our in the Spirit especially, we already know God is the leader ahead of our lives. But trusting and knowing that, and being able to identify that, and really being able to separate the external factors, and staying in touch with the internal and who you are, and then make sure you making those decisions and making sure that those belief systems that you stood on, if it's going against who God is in you, and that you're not free, and you at a you in a battle with who you are, that's you it's some work that need to be done
in you.
Yes.
Not nobody else.
Right. It's no one else's responsibility. It's yours, and that is
You
where
responsible for you.
Your relationship really grows in God, and knowing who He is in you, is you doing the self work and the love, doing that work within you. Everything is going to be revealed. It's going to be clear, and it's a process, and we've gone through the process. You know, we know God. We know who He is. We have gone through the process. So my whole journey, my whole mission, just being able to stand in that. But I can only do that in being true to myself and who I am, and and knowing, and like I say, trusting myself, and trusting who God is in me, and trusting myself to do right, and continue to learn and grow in love, walk in love, teach love, and just be love, because we are love, and we want to spread love.
This is all love.
It's just love, 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 love. You know me.
Okay.
So, yes, thank y'all for joining. Tanisha, I love you. I love she sends up the heart. And we'll be back. We'll be back again to talk more on love and loving ourselves for the most part, because when we are true and loving ourselves, then we the most powerful being. We the most powerful examples of God's love is to love ourselves and to let our lives reflect it. Let our lives be a proof who God is in us. Let it be proof of who we are, and just how we deal with people, how we deal with situations, you know, those devastating situations, all of that, because it is everything is really beyond our control, other than who we are and how our attitudes, how we choose to deal with things, how we choose to just walk and live in that light and walk in that love. So that is our journey, that is our purpose, and just our individual callings on our life, and that is to be free, just being free in God, being free in God's love, and then letting that love transform you to be the best version of yourself, and spread the highest vibration of who God is in you. And we love you right back. Okay, y'all, love y'all. Y'all have a good night, and it's been real. This is Ginger's Love signing off. Peace.
Love and life.